7-footers, we are back for another episode of Free Agency Madness. Jenna Lemoncelli here.
Jarod Hector, and we're doing it. What's up, Jenna?
Doing it. Oh, what is up, Jarod? I'm having a good day. Are you?
I'm feeling pretty good.
I mean, we know where Kawhi's going, so I think we're going to be all right.
So the rest of the league can relax their minds
What it
now.
do, baby?
What it do? What does it do, man?
Oh, man. And that is why we are kicking things off with Kawhi Leonard's big move to the Los Angeles Clippers. Finally, on one of the last days of free agency, we didn't get a Woj bomb.
No, we got a Chris Haynes bomb.
That's exactly
Yahoo
right.
Sports Chris Haynes beat Woj by about 2 minutes.
That is crazy. And you know what? I'm glad you clarified that because a lot of people, including myself, thought it was Woj while the East Coast was sleeping. So
Well, it's crazy because it's sort of the economy of the NBA, right? When you're either a fan or you're working media like we do or what have you, it's the Woj bomb is a thing. And everybody's like, oh, Woj. And look, and this is not credit to Woj. Woj generally gets these scoops. But there are other newsbreakers in the NBA landscape who are just as plugged in as Woj. Shams Charania, who we all know from The Athletic, and Chris Haynes from Yahoo Sports.
Exactly.
By the way, Chris Haynes broke Kyrie before, and KD. Like, he knows this stuff. So these guys are just as plugged in as Woj is. So I wanted to make it clear that we got that Haynes was the guy.
Exactly. Showing some love to Yahoo's Chris Haynes. Now, Kawhi Leonard to the Clippers, signs the max. We do not know the dollar amount right now, but seeing as he's coming off a championship win from Toronto, it's going to be obviously he's going to secure a bag.
And he is in the 8-year range. So as we discussed on the last week, what that is, what the money amount for that is, right? That's within the 30% range of the salary cap, right?
I'm glad we did,
Yeah, so Kawhi making all the money. Okay?
Oh, he making all that money. And he's got a big hand so he can hold all those bags.
And he should, right? I mean, he's your reigning finals MVP. He was incredible throughout the playoffs. You know, well worth it. What a great stroke of genius by Kawhi. But we'll get into, you want to talk about the rest of it, right?
Oh, yeah, that's part 2 to this incredible deal. And props to the Clippers for also securing Paul George after he demanded a trade from OKC. Now, we need to get into this a little bit because this is a dynamic duo that a lot of people are shocked about, but they don't know a lot of the behind the scenes.
Yeah, so here's what's interesting. So Kawhi, and it was clear early on, there were 3 teams at play. It was the Raptors, who we could return to. It was the Lakers, and it was the Clippers.
Yes.
Right? Now, the Clippers have been putting on that full court press on Kawhi all season, right? And we're sending
the public full court press.
Sending dudes to his games in Clippers gear. Like, what? I mean, anyway, there's that. The Lakers, look, they got LeBron. AD came this summer, and they were like, look, we're going to put the full court press on. We want to get Kawhi. And then there was the Raptors, right? And so who he was just with. And we did also realize that the Knicks had an opportunity to get a meeting with Kawhi, but they said no because they didn't want to lose out on other free agents. And, well, we saw how well that worked out for them in regard to free agents of Kawhi Leonard's status.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. There's levels.
They got free agents.
Yeah.
Just not A-plus free agents.
Exactly.
But, we were discussed that ad nauseum on the last pod. So, Kawhi, and I said this on the Ain't Hard to Tell live podcast. Shout out to our good friends, Brian Fonseca and Dexter Henry.
Great stuff over there.
Kawhi was very clear. He didn't want any leaks coming out about what he was deciding and what happened in those meetings. And we knew there was going to be no leaks from his side because he and Uncle Dennis keep a very tight, it's really the two of them.
Oh, yeah, they keep that under wraps.
Might be one other person. So if anybody's leaking anything, it's coming from the teams, not from Kawhi. And if those teams started leaking, that would be an indicator to him as to, do you guys know how to handle your business? And that, to me, I'm not reporting this. I'm just reading the tea leaves. That, to me, is part of what was a problem for the Lakers. Was that, because remember?
And that's been a problem for the Lakers.
Because remember, there was that period, and part of it was when I said Kawhi news coming soon. Because, again, I wasn't reading Twitter. It was a source that I had. Again, I have no source in the Kawhi circle because, as I mentioned, there's 3 people in there. My source is more periphery to who would possibly know what was going on. And they were saying, hey, it's looking like Lakers. But I didn't report anything. All I said was news coming soon because I was like, this isn't really, and I couldn't get any verification from anywhere else.
Yeah.
So, and I think Kawhi, he talked to Magic, and who knows what Magic said. Magic is probably like, Rob Pelinka's going to backstab you. Who knows? But I think...
And interesting, he only requested Jeannie Buss and Magic in that meeting. So Rob Pelinka wasn't there.
And I think for Kawhi, it was like, well, who runs this organization? Is it Jeannie or is it the Rambuses? Like, Magic, I thought you quit. You're still part of it? Like, what's going on here? Yeah, he's got LeBron and AD, but again, I just won the NBA championship. I am the reigning finals MVP. Why would I come to a team where we then have to decide, well, I think I'm the best player, but
am I the 1, the 2, the 3? I mean, what am I?
Forget that, right?
Yeah.
So then what happens? Kawhi meets with Paul George in LA. He's like, and let's back up. First, and it was reported, Kawhi reached out to Kevin Durant and said, Kevin, I'd love for you to team up with me.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin told Kawhi, hey, I appreciate it, but I'm already 3/4 down the road with Brooklyn. Like, if I back out now, that's not cool to my man Kyrie. Like, that's not good for Brooklyn. Like, I'm already too far down this Brooklyn road.
Yeah.
You know, who knows if Kawhi had approached KD earlier, what that may be. But neither here nor there. He said, okay, no problem. He approached Jimmy. Jimmy said, you know, look, I kind of want to do my own thing in South Beach. Okay, cool. Who else? You know what? Let me call Paul George. And Paul George is like, all right, like,
hey,
I want to go back home anyway to LA. I've been saying that for a while. No shade to my man Russ, but, you know, if I got a choice between living in LA or Oklahoma City, no shade to Oklahoma City, but I'm going to live in LA. And honestly, because everyone's now saying this is an indictment on Russell Westbrook and their relationship. And Paul was very quick to come out and say, no, Russ is my man. And that may be all well and good and true. I'm not doubting that.
Yeah.
But LA is a better basketball situation for Paul George because as good as Russ is, Kawhi's better. So I get to play with a better player.
Mm-hmm.
I have a better roster around me, right? I mean, I got Pat Beverly. I got Lou Williams. You know what I mean? I got Landry Shamet. Listen, that's just – I got Zubac. And I've got an organization who has money, who can spend. I've got a championship-level coach in Doc Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
Look, hey, man, I got an owner in Steve Ballmer who is willing to spend all the cash. Listen, say what you want about – and Sam Presti's a good GM in Oklahoma City, but he's kind of hamstrung because Clay Bennett, the owner of the Thunder, is clearly cheap. He doesn't want to pay luxury tax. And, okay, cheap's kind of a – look, it's hard to pay the tax.
Stingy.
It's kind of hard to pay the tax when you lose in the first round every year. But guess what, though? That's kind of your own fault because – and I hate to beat a dead horse, but I'm going to do it. You traded James Harden away when you didn't have to. So, I mean, you know, this franchise in Oklahoma City, you kind of brought this all on yourself. But this is not bash Oklahoma City. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole other pod.
It's a whole other pod.
Exactly. But like we were saying, the whole dynamic duo between Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, it goes back to a while back when Kawhi was hurt with the Spurs and he was coming off of that injury. And a reporter in a press conference post-game asks Paul George, you know, what advice would you give to Kawhi, who's seemingly, you know, in the same position as you or similar?
Right.
And he said out loud, and I wish I could dig the video up right now, but he said, we're very close, actually, to be honest with you. We've hung out outside of the game. You know, I've told him this, I've told him that. So these guys go way back.
Yeah.
They're both from California. They're both from small schools.
SoCal. Yep, SoCal guys.
What was it? PG-13 went to California State.
Fresno or something like that.
Yeah, Fresno. Kawhi went to San Diego.
State. Yep.
So this is the perfect duo in my eyes. The Clippers is the greatest destination for these two. Like you said, Doc Rivers, what a history. He creates champions. And the defense on this team is going to be frightening. With Beverly, PG-13, arguably Defensive Player of the Year last year. And then Kawhi Leonard. I mean, Jesus, the best two-way player we probably ever seen.
The defense that team is going to be able to play.
It's going to be some...
Yikes.
I mean, the steals that they're going to average per game is going to be off the charts. I mean, the box score is going to be incredible for this.
I mean, imagine in regular season because you know, but in the playoffs, imagine sicking those three guys on your best perimeter players. Good luck.
Yeah.
Like
have fun. I mean...
Good luck.
Yeah.
They are going to hound you and literally be in your shorts.
And I just love that Doc Rivers is going to get to coach this team.
And we've seen, listen, Doc has coached superstars before. We've seen him coach.
Oh, yeah, the depth
Paul
that
Pierce
he's gone through.
And Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen in Boston. They won a championship.
Yep.
He coached Chris Paul and Blake Griffin in L.A. He's also coached young teams that don't have any superstars, like this past Clippers team, who, by the way, took 2 games off the Warriors in round 1 of the playoffs.
Exactly. The Clippers last season, again, they weren't great, but under Doc Rivers, they excelled and they improved. And that's all you can ask for the roster that Doc Rivers had to deal with. Yeah. But now it's a whole different ball game, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Lou Williams, too.
Oh, good God, Lou Williams.
Oh, my gosh.
Instant offense.
Took less money to be with the Clippers. So not only does that tell you that the culture is incredible with the Clippers, the coaching staff, everything. Yeah. So I'm really excited for Kawhi and PG-13 to be under the Clippers because, like I said, that culture is amazing, obviously. And that's what Kawhi needs. And you can obviously tell that.
And so it's interesting that you mentioned culture. And I might as well give this rant out now while we're on it. So a lot of people are saying, a lot of critics of the NBA or who just don't like this.
Boring.
What I like about it is the players are telling ownership and management. They're putting them on notice. It doesn't matter whether I got 3 years left on a deal, 4 years left. I don't care. I am putting the pressure on you to perform at the highest level. Because here's the thing.
To do your job.
And I said this on the Ain't Hard to Sell podcast on Sunday. I'm going to say it again here. We, as fans, media, particularly fans, demand players always give their best effort. Coaches always demand players give their best effort. GM, everyone demands the players give their best effort. Well, why can't the players try and be like, okay, if I'm going to give you my best effort, I want your best effort.
Yeah. I'm coming to you, and you apparently own me, so why don't you treat me like I'm treating you and sacrificing my body?
Create a culture, create an environment that makes me want to stay. Get guys in here that want a ball.
Exactly.
Like, figure this stuff out.
Exactly.
And it's the scouting department. It's, Chris Mannix of SI did a great piece on how the Nets were able to get Kawhi and KD. And it's really Sean Marks, their GM. And it lays out really, because remember when Marks came on, that team was in shambles. They had come off the Celtics trade that brought them KD and Pierce, but it didn't really do much. And they won one playoff series, I think, with those guys. But they gave up their entire future to get those guys. They had no number one draft, nothing. They didn't control their own draft picks.
Oh yeah, they were at the bottom of the barrel.
For the last 6 years, Marks has changed the entire culture of that franchise. He invested money into the analytics department, the sports performance staff, the medical staff, everything. He hired Kenny Atkinson, a noted player development coach, as his head coach. Newsflash, that's what KD and Kyrie saw. They were like, yo, this culture. And Jared Dudley, who just left them to join the Lakers, said, the way that the Nets treated my wife and my family the minute we signed here. And again, I know I beat this horse, but I'm going to say it again. These guys are human. It matters how you treat them and how you treat their families. That goes a long way into this. Do I want to work here? Think about you. Do you like working where you work? And I bet if you don't like working where you work, what are the reasons why? Besides pay, they probably treat you not well.
Well,
right?
Not to mention, after you see what these players go through, specifically Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, they get to a point where it's like, yeah, I want to ball, but I also want to protect this.
Yeah, for sure.
This is important, a.k.a. mental health, which is what the NBA has been a basically incredible proponent of.
For sure.
So when they go through these crappy experiences, quote unquote, you hear about, the behind the scenes and this and that, they want a safe place.
Yeah.
They can focus on balling and actually focus on being happy.
Exactly.
If you're not happy, you could see right through it on and off the court.
Exactly. And I think, again, so bringing it back to the Clippers, they're just a phenomenal organization. What Michael Winger, GM, and Lawrence Frank, VP of Basketball Operations, is doing there under the guidance of owner Steve Ballmer, it's incredible. With Doc Rivers, with Jerry West, their special consultant, and that's a front office staff that has invested heavily in analytics. The performance team, I mean, it's
Jerry
everything.
West just wins.
And it's interesting, and I want to make sure that, look, give Jerry his props, but Michael Winger and Lawrence Frank Michael Winger's the actual GM, right? Like, not Jerry West, contrary to what people think.
Are you sure it's not Kawhi?
Well, we'll get to Kawhi in a second. It's the whole thing. Everyone deserves credit in making that happen. And getting back to Kawhi, is Kawhi not the best shadow GM in the league? I mean, Kawhi basically told Paul George, hey, man, why don't you tell Sam Presti that you want to leave, and here's where you want to go, and we'll make it happen. And again, the Clippers know you're not getting me, Kawhi Leonard, unless Paul George is coming. So that's something that people don't realize. Kawhi wasn't like, oh, I'll come anyway. No. Clippers, make whatever trade you have to make. because I'm not coming unless this guy's coming.
Uh-huh.
And so they were a package deal. And kudos to Oklahoma City's Sam Presti because he then got a massive haul of picks in return.
Five first
picks.
rounders.
And it's clear because Presti did some other moves. He moved Jeremy Grant and some other things.
Uh-huh.
They have a ton of draft picks the next 6 years. So what we're basically seeing is rebuild time in Oklahoma City.
Exactly. And we'll get to that because the conversation is certainly not finished there.
Yeah.
But we have to keep going with Kawhi Leonard because what does this mean now for the Raptors? Okay.
Well,
we had one great year, obviously won the chip, and which is great, brought them their first championship ever. But now where do we go from here? Because we still have Kyle Lowry leading this team now.
So, well, I mean, look, I think what you do now is you figure out Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby and Fred VanVleet. That is the future of the Raptors, right? Pascal was already most improved player this past year. Can he make another leap this summer, right? Can OG
it's gonna be crucial.
Can OG Anunoby come back off his injury? It was appendicitis. It wasn't even so like and can he develop this summer?
Yeah.
Can Fred VanVleet develop this summer? Because remember, Kyle Lowry, Marc Gasol, and Serge Ibaka are all expiring contracts. All that money comes off the books at the end of this coming basketball season, so they'll have a ton of cap space. Now, next summer isn't the free agent class that the following summer is going to be, but Masai can say, all right, let me kind of flip this and see what I do. We'll contend for a while, all with our eyes on the summer of 2021 when Giannis Antetokounmpo, among many others, will be free agents.
I'm excited to see what Masai does because right now he's kind of riding the high horse. You know, I'm coming off of my first chip. I made that huge sacrifice and risk to, send away arguably, or if not my best player, to take Kawhi Leonard, an injured Kawhi Leonard who only played 9 games the season before. What a risk. I'm excited to see what he does.
And I think, look, GMs, contrary to popular belief, I think GMs like the rebuild.
It's like an adrenaline rush.
They like the how do we construct and the rise, right?
Yeah.
It's this idea that the best part, it's like, it's not about the destination, the journey. It really, for GMs,
that is true.
It is the build and the journey.
Yeah.
There's diminishing returns as the Warriors see, and Bob Myers, one of the great GMs in the league, homie was stressed out. He's kind of liking the idea of, okay, I got no KD, Clay's kind of hurt. All right, what can I build? I'm stockpiling draft picks again.
If I was the front office in Golden State, I would have been stressed all year. Like, I would have ordered a stress test after the finals. It's just
a lot. Because when you have high-priced max guys, it is difficult to keep that going because you only have so much money.
And you got to keep everyone happy.
It's a lot. So when you get to rebuild or tear it down, it's nice. So Toronto, again, I think Masai's I think Pascal and OG, and with Kyle this year and Mark and Serge, they'll make the playoffs. They're not going to win the title.
Yeah, they're still going to have a great, incredible roster.
But I think that it's going to be really about the development of these young guys. Again, because Pascal's a young guy. OG's a young guy. And what else Masai can do trade-wise, he's going to keep, because they also don't have a lot of draft assets. So what else can he accumulate asset-wise? Maybe they move Gasol or Lowry because they're like, hey, we can get something back for that asset-wise. Or Ibaka, an asset being draft picks, so they can start retooling. Because that's the thing. You have to retool that roster. Or if you move their salaries, what player can you get back who's maybe got 2 years on his deal, but not 3, 2, so you're still good come summer of 2021 when Giannis is available.
You gotta watch.
That's a good player, right? So that's sort of the question. And Masai's a great GM, and I think he'll do that. So that's what I think is going to be going on in Toronto.
Oh, same. Now let's move back here now to the Thunder, because what does this mean for the Thunder? They lost PG-13, and they have Russ on the trading block.
For sure. Well, it's obvious. It's obvious they're rebuilding.
After 11 years, and this is my take, they're open to trade talks with him. He wants to trade. After 11 years with OKC, I think Russ has given enough loyalty to this organization. Yeah. I don't think anybody should give him any SHIT if we're keeping it PG here. See what I did there?
I'm not messing with you.
Hey, I'm on fire today.
You're on something.
Hey, just some water.
You're on something, let me tell you.
But for real, back to the business, which is my favorite line with you because we get off topic joking sometimes. But yeah, with PG-13 gone, Russ on the trading block.
Yep.
Obviously, OKC's in rebuild mode.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here? And I'm eventually going to ask you, where does Russell Westbrook fit? Seeing as a ton of dynamic duos have already hooked up together.
Well, look, here's what I think is happening. clearly it's rebuild mode, right? I mean, that's just where they are. And Presti has come to the realization that we're not going to win in our current state, like where we are. We're not good enough.
No.
You weren't.
And Russ is very hard to play with.
Well, listen, I don't.
Which was the past problems, is what I'm saying.
Right. And I don't want to kill Russ, but let's just keep it a buck, right? I mean, it just kind of is what it is. His style of play, it's just hard, right? Because he's so ball dominant, and he's not a great shooter. So there are a lot of issues there. But all that being said, he's still an excellent player, all NBA. But I think
triple-double king.
I think what you're figuring out, what Presti has found out is that you cannot win a title with Russell Westbrook as your lead guy. Like it just can't happen.
But is Russ willing to go somewhere or even stay in OKC and not be the lead guy? Is the thing.
You know, at this stage of his career, is he willing to change?
And that's a problem for a lot of people.
I don't know. And I don't want to – I mean, I've said in the past, I was like, look, it doesn't seem like it to me. Because there is a way that Russ can be better. If he turns into a better jump shooter, guess what? That's a valuable piece.
That's his but his main issue.
With another good, really great guy, which is why everyone's like, him and Jimmy Butler in Miami. Look.
I don't know about that.
Pat Riley will love it because those guys are dogs and like they will compete. But I just don't like that fit. I just think it's too both those guys run too volatile.
It's too much of a headbutt is what I see.
And I just don't know who's willing to acquiesce to the other when both of them, let's say both of them were 3 for 10 from the field or 3 for 15. It's like,
and what if it comes down to the end of the game? They both love holding that ball in clutch moments. I got the last shot. No? Who?
I just don't know how that works.
Yeah.
But again, if I'm Presti, it's rebuild mode. I can get back a haul for Westbrook because guess what? As much as we just downgraded what he is, there are teams who will be willing to take him on and will give you a ton of stuff for him.
Absolutely. And,
see the Detroit Pistons, see the Charlotte Hornets, now,
does Russ want to win?
Well, I do think Presti's going to do his best to do right by Russ.
I hope so.
But also, look, at the end of the day, Russ, I'm no longer beholden to you. I'm beholden to the Oklahoma City franchise. I can't get back pennies on the dollar for you. I have to get back as much as I possibly can. And if the Hornets or the Pistons are willing to give me a king's ransom for you, sorry, bud. That's where you're going.
Hey, this is where it gets messy.
That's the cold reality of this business, which turn it back to what I just said, which is what I love about players being like, who have the leverage. No. This is what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. If you guys don't like it, you better trade me or else, you're going to have some problems here. So, hey, personally, obviously, Sam Presti got back not only picks, he got pick swaps. Oklahoma City's got a great rebuild ahead of them. Here's what I will say about Oklahoma City. Sam Presti's a lesson for you. I talked about how he's working for a cheap owner like Clay Bennett. In the rare event that you are able to, in the future, in consecutive drafts, draft players of the caliber of Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Serge Ibaka, if you're able to have that happen to you again, you better keep that team together. I don't care what you got to do.
Hey.
Figure out a way. Because again,
we all learn from our mistakes. I hope.
You had all those guys on one team. You broke it up before you had to. You're afraid of paying the luxury tax. The salary cap spiked the next year. You wouldn't have paid any tax. For $5 million.
Fear of the unknown buried them.
And who knows if they had went to the finals that next year and won the chip, the whole landscape of the NBA is completely different.
Exactly.
Guess what we don't see? We don't see the miraculous rise of the Golden State Warriors because I'll tell you right now, that Warriors team wasn't beating that Oklahoma City team.
Heck no.
I'll tell you that.
No.
Again, hindsight 2020, all that. But, and look, let's be honest about this. The likelihood of Oklahoma City drafting Kevin Durant, a player of that caliber again, highly unlikely. But
it's rare to come by.
Right. If you are able to have those kinds of players again, and you're going to have a lot of cracks at it because you're going to have a ton of draft picks in the next 6, 7, 8 years, listen, my guy, you guys got to do what you got to do.
Hey, all about learning our lessons, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we move on really quick, I just want to pick your brain a little bit. Yeah. Where could you see Russ, realistically? Where could you see him?
I mean, look, I think Miami is a likely destination for him just because Miami loves stars, and they'll need one to pair with Jimmy. Look, I said Washington. I could see him in Washington. He may not like it there, but I could see him in Washington.
I could see it better than the Heat. I
could see him in Charlotte. Look, Charlotte's got I don't know. They need someone because right now they have Terry Rozier. Like that's their starting five. I mean, it's not looking good. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, like.
I hope Terry could play the 1 through 5.
Phoenix needs a point guard. I mean, God, poor Russ. That's like basketball purgatory. But listen.
Hey. What are you going to do?
Because here's the thing. If you remember, Toronto, because Kawhi tried to get Paul to go to Toronto, but they had to bring on Russ with them. And Masai said no, because they had to include Siakam in the deal. And Masai was like, nope, I'm not giving up Siakam.
Yeah.
Because again, it feels like I'm dumping on Russ, and I'm not. It's just that for the player that Russell is and what we're starting to see, which is the decline of his athleticism, and a player who's that's his bread and butter. And when that goes, Jenna, like, I don't know what he's going to be as a player. We already saw it last year. The shooting percentages went down dramatically. It wasn't good. And ready? I'm going to read to you his salary for the next 4 years.
Oh, let me have it.
This coming season, 38.5.
Yeah.
The following season, 41.3. Season after that, 44.2. And then the last season, he has an option to opt in, which I'm assured he will at 33 years old, $47 million.
Ooh.
For a 33-year-old point guard whose athleticism by that age is not going to be what it once was. Now, again, I did say, if Russ becomes a better shooter, you're like, okay, cool. I can roll with that. And if he's like, you know what I'll be? I'll be a 3-and-D point guard, right? Like, I'll shoot open threes, hit them at a 36, 37% clip. I'll play dogged defense, and on occasion, I can still maybe, get to the rim every once in a while, like late in fourth quarters in the playoffs. But that would require a lot of Russ sacrificing and changing his game and acquiescing to someone else. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm saying we've seen no evidence to suggest that he will. Let's remember.
Perfect way to put it.
Right?
Perfect way to put it, for real.
I mean, he had arguably the greatest scorer we've ever seen on his team and essentially chased him away. So, I don't know.
Hey,
I don't know.
mean, there's a lot of question marks when it comes to Russ, his future, and the future of the Thunder.
Yep.
But we shall see.
And we'll see what happens. But again, kudos to Sam Presti. They're going to be all right, man.
Yeah, they're going to be all right in that rebuild. They got a lot of assets coming their way.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
What does Kawhi to the Clippers mean for the Lakers, seeing as they didn't get their third superstar? What does this mean for the Lakers roster? Where do they go?
Well, so, look, you have to wait on Kawhi Leonard. Like, if you're the Lakers. I understand why they waited.
I do, yeah.
Now, remember, I also was someone who said, instead of spending that 32 on one player, I wanted them to split it up. Now, they're being forced to do that now, so they're splitting it up among players that I would prefer they not get, right? Like bringing Rondo back. Like, look, I love Boogie, but Boogie Cousins. Like, I mean, listen, Danny Green's a great player, but you had to overpay to get him. They played 2 years, $30 million. So you paid $15 million a year for Danny Green. Like, would they have been better off having Malcolm Brogdon as their point guard? Quite possibly. Quite possibly.
I hate when you ask me questions that stump me.
I'm just saying, right?
No. I mean, I get it. I could see it.
But they didn't wait, right? But they waited because they wanted to see what's up with Kawhi, which again goes back to you got to do your due diligence and your homework, Rob Pelinka. How do you listen, man? You got to be as a GM, you have to sort of see everything that could possibly be happening all at once.
Well, first of all, we can't tell Rob Pelinka to do his homework, seeing as he didn't even know Heath Ledger was dead.
Well,
R.I.P. Anyway.
Listen.
I could see Malcolm Brogdon as the point guard. But we've recently learned that the Lakers may start LBJ as the point guard.
And all that is just sort of de facto, like, him being the primary ball handler, which he needs to be. And look, and LeBron's an excellent playmaker. Can he do that for all 82 games plus the playoffs? I don't know. What they're basically telling you is Rondo can't start. That's what they're saying. If that is if they're saying we want LeBron to, well, and again, would you if let's just assume they signed Malcolm Brogdon, do you think we'd be getting notes about LeBron being a starting point guard?
No.
Okay. Again,
no.
It's just
here's what the Lakers do have if anyone out there is looking for a bright side.
Right.
They have a lot of championship experience, a lot of older guys.
Well, LeBron James and Boogie Cousins, well, he didn't win a championship. Rajon Rondo and
okay, I shouldn't say that. I should say finals experience,
yeah,
deep playoff experience.
Sure.
They have older guys,
Sure.
veterans. I mean, they do have assets in that way, and I think Kyle Kuzma is going to be a great player for them.
Here's what's interesting about Kuzma.
Taking on other people, though, could stunt his development, I'll say.
But beyond stunting his development, here's what I'm thinking about Kuzma right now. Are you sure you want Kyle Kuzma to be the third best player on your title team?
No.
I know we all love Kuzma, and here's what I'm thinking about that. Is it because he's part of the all cozy fit team and he's got all this amazing drip and
Yeah.
but as an actual no, I
know.
As an actual player, yeah, he's pretty good offensively. He's a disaster on defense. Like, do you want him like in crucial moments in the NBA Finals? Because if he's your third best player, guess what? He's playing crucial minutes in the Finals. Now, I get it. You have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I get all that. But
they can't do everything until the end. Look how dead Kawhi was in the end this past season.
And, if something happens to LeBron or Anthony Davis and Kuzma's got a
Boogie and everyone else.
What now?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. So look, I'm not.
No, I mean the pressure is legitimately on Kuzma this season.
I like Kuzma a lot,
it is.
But this idea, and I think part of it is he plays in LA. Again, he's part of the all drip, all cozy team, so he's always looking fresh to death. He's always on social media, and playing in that
was
market.
Just spotted with Kendall Jenner this past weekend.
You see what I'm saying? It's these.
Look what happened to Ben Simmons.
It's these kinds of things that, because he's in our consciousness, do we make him a better player than he actually is?
No,
I'm not saying
he's
not good. I'm saying, do we overvalue him because he's everywhere all the time?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, if he was dripping down in Utah, we wouldn't really be paying attention. So I get what you're saying. I really do. Hey, I mean, this Lakers team is an interesting makeup, but also we have Avery Bradley. 2-year deal, $9.7 million. Thank you, Woj.
Avery's interesting because Avery wasn't good last year, and he's been injured a lot recently. And the question is, what are you getting out of Avery Bradley? I don't know that we know that. And so he was one time an excellent defender and could shoot open threes. If he can get back to that, you're great. Can he? I don't know. Again, because you waited for Kawhi, and you had to wait for Kawhi, I understand. Till the end of free agency, you're picking up at bottom of the. That's not what I mean, but you're not getting the middle level free agents. You're not picking up a guy like Malcolm Brogdon. You're not picking up a guy like. Well, you could get Marcus Morris, I guess, but he might go to the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? You're not getting those caliber of players because you're waiting on the Kawhi sweepstakes, and I get why you did it, but
I think you're also going to be shocked with what I'm about to say.
What?
Because I never play this card, ever.
What?
LeBron James, the apple of my eye.
I thought Kyrie was the apple of your eye.
He is. But the other apple of my eye, LeBron James, and the spaghetti to my meatballs, the peanut butter to my jelly.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
The star in the sky that I see all the time.
Oh, Lord, please.
Is going to be 35 years old.
And at the end
in December.
And at the end of this season, he will be number 3 in minutes all time. All time. All time.
Oh my gosh.
Not of the current. No, in the history of the NBA.
I know.
Number 3 in minutes. We've already seen him he had a growing he had a growing injury last year.
I know.
I'm just listen. Everybody loves the whole like LeBron machine, but listen, Father Time is actually undefeated. Like that is a true thing.
I know, which is why I said it. It's the fear that I don't want to face, but I need to.
Listen,
and I'm a little scared. I'm not saying that he is not going to pull some more tricks out of his bag now that he has AD to kind of lean on a little bit.
Right.
Because if he didn't have somebody else with him, that's it. Like
it's just a matter of like in terms of both teams, Lakers, Clippers, right? Like I'm just not as high on the Lakers role guys because the rest of that roster in my mind is just it's not great. Like I don't love having to rely on Kyle Kuzma. I don't love having to rely on JaVale McGee. I don't love having to rely on Rajon Rondo. Like I know Rajon Rondo's got big game experience, but like, and he's won a finals before. But
Rajon Rondo, and I'm not discrediting him. I mean, his knowledge, his ball handling, his past, his career.
He can play D. He's
he's incredible, and he's still got more gas in the tank. But I loved Rajon Rondo when he was on the sidelines with the clipboard.
Right.
I loved him.
You like Coach Rondo.
I love Coach Rondo. So I'm all for the Lakers taking him back. But maybe we should replace him with replace him and Rob Pelinka, and send Rob to watch some Heath Ledger films.
Here's the thing, too. And you mentioned Rob, and I mentioned Rob.
Unfortunately. No, I'm kidding.
There's just dysfunction over there. So Frank Vogel is your incoming head coach. Mm-hmm. You think LeBron gonna listen to Frank Vogel? Just curious.
No.
When he's got his buddy who he's tight with, Jason Kidd, as the assistant coach, as well as Lionel Hollins as the other assistant coach. Mm-hmm. How long before Frank Vogel? How many games you giving Frank Vogel before he gets fired?
Oh gosh, I mean
15. If he makes it to the trade deadline, I'll be shocked. Shocked.
That's gonna be problematic though.
Because look.
I mean, then again, there's so many problems.
Because Kidd and Hollins want head jobs.
Oh
so
yeah, I mean Kidd, of course.
I mean, so I don't know, unless the idea is Lionel Hollins is there to be like, yo, Bron, we ain't doing that because Lionel Hollins is one of those old school guys who LeBron will not intimidate him. Like that's not a thing. Mm-hmm. He's like second bus leads at 10. So little inside for you guys who listen to the pod and who watch us. Go into a locker room, the visiting team, they'll have a whiteboard at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. And it'll say bus number 1, 10:15, bus number 2, 10:45, or whatever. Mm-hmm. Bron's usually on that second bus, but the second bus always waits because he knows LeBron James or whatever. Yeah. So whatever he's doing, blah, blah, blah. How much you want to bet Lionel Hollins goes in there? It's like, yo, man, bus 2's at 10:45. I don't care who you are. We leaving at 10:45. Like, what I'm saying all that is to say, there's a lot of strong-willed personalities on the bench and in that locker room, and woo! And with the media and the leaks that go on around and everything around LeBron and Clutch, and it's just, listen.
When I think of the Lakers, Kanye West flashing lights plays in my head. It is like it's so much. It's just so much.
It's a lot.
And I can't wait for the documentary that's going to come out, like when LeBron James retires. Yeah. That just shows all of the behind the scenes. It's going to be incredible.
It's crazy. So and we're going to get into this next in terms of like who we like as far as our realistic title contenders. Look, you got LeBron and you got Anthony Davis. Of course, you're a title contender. Yeah. Obviously, those are the two of the 4 best players in the league? 5? I mean, yeah, you're amazing. But the rest of that roster has me cautious, is what I'll say.
Great use of words today, Jarod.
I try.
I mean, per usual, but it's great today. Spot on.
I try.
Okay, as we wrap up this A block, here we go.
Yeah.
What are your picks for title contenders so far? As it stands today.
So I'm going to start in the Eastern Conference.
Okay.
I think the Bucks, obviously. Mm-hmm. The Philadelphia 76ers, obviously.
You have 2 of my 3.
And then there's a mystery team in the East. And literally on my rundown, it says mystery East team.
They're coming, baby.
I don't know who it is. Everyone's going to say, you know the Celtics? I'm like,
No.
Look, listen, you replace Kyrie with Kemba. They got Tatum. They got Brown. They're going to be a good team. I don't think they're a title contender. But I do think some other team in the East is going to make another trade or a move during the season and will become a quote-unquote title contender. And to be clear to the listeners and viewers out there, when we say title contender, we don't mean guaranteed shit. What we're saying is these teams, if things break right, we could see them making a run to the NBA Finals.
Exactly.
So yeah, Bucks, Sixers, and a mystery East team. Who could be the Heat? Who could be the Celtics? Who knows? But that's what I see. So those are my Eastern Conference title contenders.
Okay.
Who do you have in the East?
Okay, I have your two.
Bucks and Sixers. Which is, I mean, we don't need to say why.
Yeah,
very obvious.
Exactly. Bucks and Sixers, and just, I won't get into it, but I love this Sixers roster.
Well, look, first of all, they're huge. They're humongous.
Oh my gosh, you just said
shortest player,
pod.
6'6" in the starting lineup.
Exactly.
They're monsters. Getting Al Horford's going to be huge. I mean, they're going to be great.
Take the pressure off Joel Embiid. Yep. Incredible.
Yep.
Love that. I also agree with you. I think there's a mystery team coming up, but I don't think we should sleep on those Pacers.
Wow. The Pacers is a title contender. Wow.
They are still my shaky team, and I want to say Boston so bad, but just swapping one player is going to fix all your issues? I don't know.
So you think Indiana's better than Boston?
Arguably.
Because you like Malcolm Brogdon over there?
Yeah.
Well, Old Deal was coming back off injury. They got that. They traded that. They got Sabonis and Miles Turner.
Yep, and I think a lot of people are forgetting the power of Victor Oladipo because of his injury.
Okay.
So that I have faith in those Pacers.
Listen, I like the Pacers. I don't know that I like them as but room for disagreement. But
you
listen,
never know.
Listen, I think the Pacers, they're definitely in that playoff hunt. I mean, they're going to be up 4-5-ish, somewhere in that range.
Very excited to see what they have in store.
All right.
Now to the deep, deep West.
To the deep West, I have the Nuggets. I have the Rockets.
Yeah.
I have the Utah Jazz. I have the Lakers. I have the Clippers.
Yeah.
I mean, Lakers and Clippers, we just talked about them. The moves that the Jazz have made with Mike Conley, Bogdanovich now, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert. I mean, listen, watch out for the Jazz. Look, I know the Rockets had some dysfunction going on, but they still have James Harden.
Yep.
They still, 2 years ago, went to Game 7 against the Golden State Warriors.
Very true.
Listen, the Rockets are there. And the Denver Nuggets, Jokic, I mean, he makes a step up. Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, they get better. And we'll talk about Michael Porter Jr. later. They get 15 minutes from that guy. I mean,
15 powerful minutes can do a lot. Look what Dwayne Wade did coming off the bench in Miami at age, 35?
Yeah. So those are my contenders.
Yeah. Okay. We're quite similar. I have Clips, Lakers, obviously, Nugs, and Jazz.
Yeah. Those are we're the same.
I do not have the Rockets.
Okay. Fair enough. Listen.
An aging Chris Paul.
And you wouldn't be wrong.
And if D'Antoni doesn't, if he's
we don't even know what's going on with
exactly.
Listen,
so if Harden's minutes aren't handled the correct way, like we've always preached, I mean, they've just not given me enough faith anymore. And
you would be right not to have them.
Oh my gosh. It has been so long since he's been nice to me.
Monumental moment, folks.
I love it. That was a good one. I liked that. All right. Now that we've wrapped up that A block, let's move into the B to talk about the Red Hot Summer League down in Vegas.
Wait, hold on one second. I'm like that? My little
Love that transition. All right, B block coming in hot. Summer League down in Vegas. Let's start this off with RJ Barrett, who is not coming in hot. You like that segue? No hate to Barrett, but there is a lot of hate on Barrett from scouts in the NBA. We're seeing it all over.
Yeah, look, we do this every year. We get so hyped
Should we pump the brakes?
Pump the brakes.
Thank you.
Here's the big thing. Dude hasn't played organized ball since what? Late March? I mean, like real organized competitive ball since late March. He's going to have some rust, and he's still the NBA game and figured it out.
Not to mention, you're playing in front of crowds where LBJ is sitting right there with Rich Paul and Anthony Davis.
And it's also Summer League where guys are like trying to – think about Summer League is –
this is their time to adjust.
We love it because you see guys who are hungry, who want to make teams. Listen, we always talk about the draft picks and the lottery guys and all those who play at Summer League. You know who else are on Summer League rosters? Guys from Europe who are trying to make the league.
Great point that a lot of the people at home don't know.
And you know what that means? those guys are like, yo, we're trying to make it too. Not only that, you have guys in the NBA who may be in their second or third year who had actual NBA experience, like Alonzo Trier, like Mitchell Robinson, like Kevin Knox, who are on the Knicks, who guess what? Who are like, listen, rookie, yeah, we see you, but we here too. We were actually in the league last year.
Exactly.
And we're trying to improve and get better.
A lot more experience than these guys, obviously coming off the fame of the draft, getting fitted for suits, and now they're running the court at a different pace.
It's a lot, and so I think we need to pump the brakes on RJ. What I have seen and I've watched him play.
Yeah.
His motor's still there, and that's what I like. Like he had 10 or 12 rebounds the other game, so like he's engaged.
Yeah.
His shot's been looking kind of flat, but that could just be out of shape. And I think this summer will be big. I think he'll really work with the Knicks development. Look, let's just make this about the Knicks really quickly. Their player development. You know, we talked about culture and it's a buzzword people love throwing around, and not just NBA, but in work world in general.
Of course.
But it is important.
It is.
The reason why the Knicks didn't get big free agents is because people don't love that culture. And a piece of that culture is player development. So I'm going to be watching closely this season. How does Kevin Knox look in year 2? Did Trier get better? Is Mitchell Robinson better? Is the ghost of Frank Ntilikina anywhere to be found?
That always cracks me up.
Listen, I'm going to start looking at them sideways if I don't start seeing improvement. I'm going to say, is it the players or is it your player development staff? Have the Knicks invested in player development? We're going to find out.
Amen. Now to another guy we haven't seen in action in a hot minute, Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah.
Injured again. Out of Summer League.
Man. And you know, this was someone I was so hyped to see in Summer League.
Right?
Because remember, so he was from last year, the 2018 draft class. Mm-hmm. And if you remember, Marvin Bagley and all those guys said, yo, when we were in high school, Michael Porter Jr. wasn't that dude. Like, he was the best player in our class.
They all said, you know, I thought he was going, top 5, this and that. He dropped to like 14 or 15.
Well, and part of it was the back issues and the injuries. And I mentioned this on another pod. Injuries seem to run in their family. Like, his brother Jonte also.
Yeah.
He has sisters that play ball also. I mean, it's just a weird thing where they all have these crazy injuries. And it's a shame, and I'm hoping Denver, again, a team that's really invested in its performance and medical staff, it doesn't seem like he's going to – all reports say they're going to sit him out of Summer League, but he'll be ready for training camp. Look, we talked about Denver being one of my fringe contender team. I like them as a contender. If they can get 15 minutes a game out of Porter this year, that's huge.
Oh, yeah.
Off the bench, because here's the thing about Porter. I know he can do a lot of things. But let's just say the injury has sapped athleticism and whatever, or never.
We have to see how he comes back from the back injury.
Right,
he had surgery. He told me last summer he felt great.
So let's say, like, for whatever reason, that limits him. You know what he is, though? He's 6'10" and can shoot threes.
Yay.
Guess what you need? Guess what you need in this league? Size and shooting. Yes. Preferably in the same package.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that is huge. So if he can just be a big who can stretch the floor and shoot, that's a win.
Exactly.
So
we're not saying give us everything, but just give us something.
Because of the injuries, he may never be the player that everyone thought he could be. But if he's 6'10" and can shoot threes, that's huge.
Hey.
Listen, Ryan Anderson got paid a ton of money in this league for shooting threes, and is still getting paid and is not doing that well anymore. So my point being, if Porter Jr. could be better than that, I mean, listen,
he's young.
He's young.
They're sitting him out the rest of Summer League. I have faith. He told me last summer he had the surgery on the back. He felt great. He was going to come back strong. We shall see.
And we saw some clips, which, weren't looking great, but, the training camp will be big for them. You know what? Maybe I'll take a trip out to Denver this year to see.
Ooh, I've always wanted to go to Denver.
See some
road trip.
See some 7-footers on the road. Maybe see a little
Can you imagine a segment like that? Like 7-footers take the road.
See a little Michael Porter Jr. I'm very excited to see him. Anyway, moving on. Yep.
Me too. Let's get to the man of the hour, Zion Williamson. But we won't be seeing him in action this summer because the Pelicans have taken him out of Summer League indefinitely. Yep. Bruised knee, suffered it in the, earthquake game?
Yeah, an earthquake.
Wow.
Earthquake in Vegas during Summer League. Good Lord.
Wow. Okay. That is one for the books.
Yeah.
But back to the injury, bruised knee.
Yeah.
Are we taking precaution with Zion?
Yeah, I think so. Look.
So should we be worried?
No, I think David Griffin, Trajan Langdon, and the front office staff in New Orleans, they're doing the right thing. They're being cautious because, look, this is their franchise. This is their number one pick.
Yeah.
Zion's also a little bit out of shape, and you could see it.
You could see it in photos. You can see, and I'm not fat shaming, whatever.
It's just,
you could see it in photos.
Yeah.
He's like got a Joel Embiid
build. He hasn't
build.
played serious basketball since late March.
Yeah.
He's been on the draft world tour. I mean,
exactly.
This is what happens.
And you're the number one pick, so you're doing a lot more touring
than you are working out.
A lot of people.
Guess what?
Yeah.
He's gonna get down into New Orleans for training camp. Later this summer, get his body right, get himself together. They'll be back and they'll be ready. One thing I think we need to discuss, and we're gonna do that, I guess, as we get into our next block, the pressure that everyone's putting on Zion Williamson. Mm-hmm. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
This idea about him being the most highly touted prospect since LeBron James.
That needs to stop.
And my thing is, that is a true statement. He is the most highly touted prospect since LeBron James. I know, but
when you're throwing it in his face like that,
but my point is,
you're human.
What is it that we expect from this kid? Because so you're saying is if he's the most highly touted prospect since LeBron James, are you then saying you expect him to have LeBron James' career? Listen, man, that's a lot. LeBron James might be the greatest player of all time. That's a lot of pressure to put on a young man.
What have I been saying, Jarod? Comparison is the thief of joy.
It is. So if so all I'm saying is, everyone, let's pump the brakes. Let's let Zion develop into...
Exactly. Give him a fair shot at this league.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I was at the draft. Mm-hmm. I asked Zion one-on-one. Yep. I said, what is the biggest misconception about you going into the league and even before? Mm-hmm. Because obviously all of the spotlights are on you as opposed to a lot of other players.
Yep.
He said, the fact that I am labeled. I'm already labeled. Mm-hmm. And right in my head, I thought of the comparisons to LeBron James. So like you said, we do need to pump the brakes on that. Because first of all, this kid, he just turned 19. Guys, he just turned 19.
He's a kid.
Give him a second to get his feet wet, damn it.
Jenna has spoken.
You know, when I get mad, I like throw out a little damn it. That's still PG, isn't it?
That's all good.
Right? Okay.
Moving on. You love that.
I love that. It's like my favorite. Okay. These are just a couple little tidbits, news and notes here in this C block, okay? Mm-hmm. Why don't you kick us off, Jarod?
So David Griffin, Executive Vice President of the New Orleans Pelicans, who, can we just give it up for Griff one time, please? Like,
give him something. What a do, baby?
A little air horn. Another one for Griff.
He deserves two.
I mean, Griff, wow. What a rebuild. I mean,
talk about it, Jarod, because you were the one that was saying they had no staff down there. They had football
people,
player development, running basketball. So
listen, that's
why I wanted you to start this.
I've said it on 17 million pods. I'm saying it again. David Griffin is putting on a master class on how you create culture and change a franchise in the NBA.
He flipped the switch.
In like 3 months.
Is that a Quavo song or something?
In 3 months.
Heck yeah. New Orleans is going to be fun.
Think about this. New Orleans this coming season will likely be better this year than they were last year with Anthony Davis.
Oh my gosh. I can't even believe you just went there.
But, right, I mean.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Listen, and let's be clear. Part of it is luck in the sense that they won the draft lottery, right? I mean, that is luck.
Yeah.
That is luck. There's no, I mean, that was luck.
Yeah.
However, everything else around what Griff has done, the massive haul of picks and talent he got for Anthony Davis, Ingram, Josh Hart, Lonzo Ball. Huge.
You didn't get bad players. I mean, Lonzo Ball, number one pick in the draft last year.
You shedded salary. You got off that Solomon Hill deal. Oh, you got J.J. Redick. I mean.
Great shooter in J.J. Redick. Brandon Ingram, if he can get through this injury plague that he's going through,
Listen, Brandon Clark and listen, they've done some incredible things. Oh, by the way, right? Like, it's just what Griff has done has been incredible. They've got tremendous cap flexibility. They can do a lot of different things. Griff was on NBA Sirius XM radio, and he said to Drew Holiday in the interview, but Drew wasn't there, but he's talking to the radio host saying, I told Drew, I want you to be the MVP of this league. And people were like, whoa, Drew Holiday MVP. And Griff was in Phoenix when Steve Nash won his 2 MVPs. He's like, no one thought Steve Nash was going to be a 2-time MVP.
Right.
And he was. And here's what's so genius about Griff. One, he's letting Drew now know this is your team.
Which is good.
As much as
Drew
Zion,
deserves that
as much
team.
as Zion is the chosen one on the next whatever, he's still a 19-year-old kid and a rookie.
Yeah.
So also, he took pressure off of Zion by saying, Drew, this is your turn to be the MVP. Mind games, right? Number 2.
Jarod.
Number 2. He said in that same interview, sometimes you got to give guys permission to go dominate when they're out on the floor. So
not wrong there.
He's basically saying, Drew, you're in charge. What does that mean? Drew's going to see an uptick in his counting stats, points per game, assists, all that. Here's the thing about that. Not smart GMs and basketball people in the league, which we know there are lots of them, are going to see those numbers and go, oh, Drew Holiday is really good, even though everyone else already knew Drew Holiday's been good. So what will those?
He just had to play the 2-3 spot.
So
with
what will those?
Anthony Davis.
What will those high counting stats do? That's going to increase his trade value. So Griff could say, you know what? We got Lonzo Ball as our point guard of the future. I'm going to flip Drew Holiday into some picks, into a backup wing, into another shooter, into a whatever. Hello? Listen.
Are you and Griff friends?
All I'm saying is Griff is just.
Are you moving to New Orleans?
Listen, New Orleans is one of my favorite cities
I know.
in all of America.
I know.
Like, it's listen, I'll head down to the Court of Two Sisters. Get some crawfish etouffee. Listen, they do it up in New Orleans. But anyway, we got to give it up to Griff. Awesome. Incredible. All right. Next
Love
topic.
it. Love it. We need to talk about Dame Lillard because Dame did Dame things recently with his comments about, quote unquote, teaming up with other superstars and going to other teams. I loved Dame's comments. These comments would come from him.
Yeah.
He's not into it. He even said him and CJ McCollum, not about it. I mean, if they see a superstar and he comes, why not? But
they're not going to go and actively recruit guys.
Yeah, they're not recruiters. They're not this. They're not that. They know their worth. And I love that because that confidence in a duo and a player like that, because Dame, it took him a while to secure the bag. A lot of people said he was too small to be in the league. He wasn't worth the max. He wasn't worth the near $200 million. But I love these comments. Dive deep into this with me, Jarod. Come on.
Here's what I'm going to say about this. That's a Dame thing, and that's how Dame is. I will say this to Dame and TJ. And listen, I enjoy them, but I have my issues with them in terms of them being the lead guys on a title team as that team is currently constructed.
For sure.
So,
I mean, they did go far.
But as we talked about, they were not a true Western Conference Finals team.
Yeah.
They just weren't.
A lot of it was
seeding. This is where they were seeded.
Yep.
Look, that's all well and good, Dame, and I hope that you enjoy not winning a title because you're probably not going to win one.
Yeah, yeah.
And I want to make sure we don't go overboard on this because everyone is like all anti guys teaming up and super teams and blah, 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 and all that. And Dame can say that because he's in a position to say it. Because guess what? No one expects Damian Lillard to win titles. And here's why. What Damian Lillard is right now as a player, All-NBA, multiple-time All-Star, just signed a Supermax. His NBA career is already a success. No one thought he was going to be this coming out of Weber State. Is that Weber State? Like that's where he went.
Mm-hmm.
No one.
I'm glad you said that.
No one thought Dame was going to be this. There isn't a soul. He did, but no one outside of Damian Lillard himself thought he was going to be this. So anything he's doing now in his career, if he wins a title, it's gravy. No one expects that. And we have done this as media and as fans. We create this rings culture, right? Listen, you know who we expect to win titles? KD, you better win titles. AD, you better win titles. Bron, you better win titles. Get Zion, you better win titles.
There's levels.
As we always say, there are levels to this. There are certain guys who, when they come out because of the way they're hyped and their games, they have to win titles.
Exactly.
Or else we're like, you ain't that good.
Exactly.
That was never it for Dame. No, because again, no one thought he was going to be there. So Dame could easily sit there and say, I love the challenge. Dame, I applaud you for that. enjoy your challenge because, homie, that squad ain't good enough to win the title.
Oof.
Listen, it's just not.
Hey, no, I completely agree with you.
It just isn't.
I believe last season was about seeding. And the thing, what I said in the beginning was, with the comments that Dame made, these are Dame comments.
Yeah.
If somebody were to say, hey, Jenna, let me read you this quote, and you tell me which NBA player said this, I'd be like, Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
Of course. Because he doesn't put the championship expectations on him or those aspirations. He just wants to be in Portland. He wants to play ball.
His career is already a success. It is
exactly.
You know who
He's
else?
already exceeded all expectations.
You know who else has done this as well? Similar? It's Steph Curry. No one thought Steph was going to be this coming out of Davidson. Nobody.
No.
Steph did. Anything he does, I mean, and he's already a cemented because he's won 3 titles and all that.
Yeah.
But there are certain guys who, whether it be the sheer force of their hard work and their will, listen, they get to those mountaintops and it's like, oh, great. There isn't a soul alive besides Steph Curry who thought he'd be doing this.
Yeah.
They just wasn't. Same with Dame. So, again, you have the vantage point of not being, that pressure wasn't on you. No one saw that. The pressure is on Zion, even though Griff, as I just talked about, is trying to take it off him. The pressure is on AD, was on LeBron, it was on KD. Those guys have to win titles. So
Amen.
Other guys don't have to. It's just how it is.
Agreed. Amen to that. And lastly, let's just note that KD and Boogie are both changing their numbers.
Oh.
KD to 7.
And Boogie's to what?
15.
Hey. New chapter?
New number. We have to end it on that now.
That was great.
That's it. Give me that right there. Okay. Thank you guys for hanging with us again for Free Agency Madness. We will be back again because we are sure there are going to be some moves.
Oh, boy. Summer League, maybe. We'll talk about Summer League finally.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, don't worry. We'll find something to talk about. Okay. Thanks, guys, for hanging with us. We'll catch you next week.
Peace.